All right, now Siva is here. And remember, Siva taught me a trick last week that all you people without your camera on, down the side, I can tell who has a camera and who doesn't have it on. So if you can, I would really love it if you can pop. It's an Alice Ivy shirt is what I'm rocking. But yeah, if you can have your camera on, please have your camera on. There you are. Let's see you. All right, Jacinta's eating, standard. Mikey, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello. Hello.
I can't see you.
Oh, well, here we are talking about, all that. I didn't see the camera thing on. I can hear myself echoing.
How the hell are ya?
I'm good. Where is that echo
I'm not putting my camera on. Jenna, you know you need to show up to these calls ready. Thank you. It's freshly washed. Now, Mike, what have you been up to?
Well, I don't know if we have talked. Collectively with the group here. I moved to Houston. Do y'all guys know that?
Yeah. Last time, yeah. So it's more after Cabo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I ended up. I got a house for the first time in my life. I applied for a house and got approved in 7 hours. That has literally never happened in my entire life, and that's cool. So it's a nice house. It's nothing crazy. It's perfect for just me and the little one that is hiding behind me. And no furniture yet. I got a bed yesterday, so that is good. And just been taking little bit of load like every day over there and kind of doing a ton of laundry. But it's coming together nicely. It's really cool to have a place. I have never in my entire life ever lived alone. And I'm pretty excited for it because that's going to be, I think, really, really interesting for me in terms of just self-healing and things like that. And, really just been getting to it. I'm still at Jordan's house because I don't have internet there yet. I get it in 2 days. So after I obviously get internet there, and now that I have a bed, I start building, like getting a couch. Like there's no furniture in this house, like at all. It's just a bed that is sitting on box springs on the floor because I don't have a bedroom set or nightstands or literally anything, but it's still amazing. It's still cool. And I'm excited to do it. So it's been really cool. It's been fun. And I've been enjoying it.
That's good. I'm proud of you. Your house sounds like mine, except I sold all my stuff because I want to move the fuck out of Victoria. And so yeah, literally we had a just selling everything. Like I don't even have a couch or anything, a dining room table either. Same, and I actually really love it. I feel way less cluttered. But I appreciate you waking up. I know daylight savings has started.
Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me.
Yeah, I almost didn't. I almost did. I was like, I bet he doesn't know. So yes, we're here, and I know the squad in New Zealand, it's just a little bit late for them, so we probably won't see the Kiwis on, but that's all right. But guys, I really wanted to talking with a couple of the other leaders out here in Australia, and we wanted to kind of, the topic that we wanted to talk about tonight was about finishing this year really strong. Okay, there's no real questions as such. There's one question that was sent in, and I really like it. Jenna, I made you co-host if I can get you to be the admitter. Pretty please. Thank you so much, and hi. So yeah, we wanted to talk about, there's only like 12 weeks left of the year, right? Like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So, roughly 12 weeks left of the year. I know some of you that I've been talking to have some pretty incredible goals. Some of you want to go for FTMO. Some of you got some pretty crazy rank goals as well. And I want to give a bit of like tough love tonight, always coming from a space of love, always. You guys know my coaching mentoring style. It's not to make you feel nice and fluffy, and I mean it is that as well, but it's also all about radical responsibility and accountability. And I want the best for you guys, and so that's why we've got this topic tonight. So I guess I want to ask you guys something just straight off, and Mike, butt in whenever you want, okay? Like this is going to be a duo tonight. So I want to ask you guys, why is it that some people have success in trading and some don't? Okay, I want you to write in the chat for me why you think that is. And I think that'll set the tone. So write in the chat for me why you think some people make a lot of money in this, succeed in this. Sacrifice, belief in themselves. Alexa knows what's up. Mindset, commitment. Okay, good. You guys know. Discipline and pain. Yeah, okay. Shout out to Jason, actually. He's one of our top traders in our group and phenomenal legend. So the reason why I wanted to ask that question straight off the bat is just because of the conversations that I'm having. It's interesting. And I find that, most people aren't willing to do whatever it takes. Okay, some may give it, some people think they're actually doing more than what they are. Okay, they might give it 50%, some might give it 75%, some might even go as like 90%. But I need you guys to really understand that you can have whatever it is that you want if you're willing to do whatever it takes. And as Mike says all the fucking time, what you want is going to cost everything that you have. Okay, so if you want to live an exceptional and extraordinary life, you have to give up many of the things that make up a normal life. Okay, so where you are, I say this all the time, where you are right now is the result of who you were. The choices you made, okay, in the past has led you to the exact point in life that you're at right now. But where you end up depends entirely on who you choose to be from this moment on, okay, from this moment forward. So I think the number one reason why people don't achieve what they want to achieve is due to a lack of focus. Okay, and that lack of focus is coming from a lack of clarity. And for you to be successful at anything, you need to know why you're doing something. You need to know why you want what you want. Okay, then the steps that you need to take to achieve it. So basically, you got to know the why, the what, and the how. Okay, and you need to know what you guys want from this. And saying money isn't good enough. Money isn't just doing this because of money isn't good enough, because like we also always say is if you're doing trading just for the money, right, then what is the difference between you here learning how to trade and you clocked on at a job? So what else about trading is it that you want? Okay, you need to know what you want, because clarity is power. A vague wishy-washy goal promotes vague wishy-washy results. Okay, and no one fucking likes flaky shit. No one likes flaky energy, right? No one likes it when you've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, what do you really want? And take some notes, because I'm going to probably rattle off some questions. All right, if you were to wake up tomorrow completely alone, without anyone there to influence the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis, what would you do differently? Okay, because like I just said, every single decision, every single choice that you've made in the past has led you to the exact moment that you're in right now. That may be good, that may be bad, that may be, undesirable, it may be amazing. Okay, but either way, the choices and the decisions that you make today, tomorrow, is going to be the thing that sets you up months from now, years from now. So if you're going to be completely honest with yourself, what would you start? It's like stop and start together. Dana, I love you. Ultimate hype girl. What would you stop doing? Okay. Losing my train of thought. If you're, if you're currently on, going about your day to day, can you really achieve what it is you're doing on a day-to-day basis, is what I'm trying to say. Will you be where you want to be 12 months from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now, if you keep doing what it is you're doing? Write that in the chat. Yes or no. Okay. Or are you focusing on things that are distracting you from what it is you're trying to do? Okay. Because lack of clarity is one of the biggest reasons for failure. Okay. In life, in business, in relationships, in personal. It's the lack of clarity that creates frustration. It creates chaos. Okay. So for us to achieve our goals, we need to close the gap, right? The gap between where we are right now and where we want to be. And to do that in the most, effective way, we need to get really fucking real with where we are at right now. So ask yourself, if I keep doing what I'm doing today, tomorrow, this week, this month, am I actually likely to achieve my goal? Right? Most people will answer no to that because most people think they're doing more than what they are, because most people do just enough, right? Most people are not prepared to give up what they want now for what they want most. Okay? No, other way around. They're not willing to give up whatever. You guys know what I mean. Okay? Change only happens. We create change when the current state of pain exceeds the perceived pain of change. You know what I mean? Like change only occurs when this is why people don't change. Okay. They're comfortable or they haven't felt enough pain to want to change. Like me, my reason for changing was 2015, guys. I had my fucking power cut off, right? I couldn't even afford to feed myself. I was 3 months in rental arrears. That's embarrassing. That's pain. I had so much shame around that. I never wanted to fucking feel that ever again. I've had girls who's on this call tonight had a pretty cushy job, right? They've been pretty okay through COVID. And then when all this mandate shit coming in, guess what? Her hours have been cut. She basically has lost her job. Okay, thank God she has this. But now she's felt enough pain, she's ready to go all the way fucking in, right? She's in. So change only happens when the current state of pain exceeds the perceived pain of change. So if you're not where you want to be, what needs to change? Is the pain of staying the same bank account, the same amount of time or lack of each week, the same shitty relationship, right? Really worth not putting the work in? Okay, because I strongly believe that most people know exactly what they should be doing. You just use excuses and other things to distract yourself for whatever reason, right? Marking up charts and being wrong. You don't want to feel that, so you don't do the work. No one likes being wrong. Okay. Prospecting and getting rejected. You don't want to feel that, so you don't do the things that you need to do to get the results that you want. So instead you say things like, I don't know how. I'm trying to, but I need you to understand that you will, like, if they're the reasons like why you're not doing the work that you need to do, you will never be free until you free yourself from the prison of your false thoughts and limiting beliefs, because they're the things that's holding you back. Okay, Mike, do you have anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, I love that answer because it's usually the answer I give, but I'll flip it. How about the pleasure of how easy it is of staying the same? It's easy. It is so easy to do that and to cast responsibility off on anything else. See, the thing is, guys, is that we are the highest forms of creation and can quite literally have whatever we want. Well, again, the pleasure of being able to just bitch about problems and stay on the same line, it's a pleasure to do that. And so where pain becomes growth is the desire for things to be different. But everybody, of course, the irony of that is that everybody wants to be a millionaire, guys. Everybody wants to have all of the time in the world. Everybody wants to travel and do all of these things. Like, there isn't a single person that you would find that truly does want to do any of those things. Everybody does. So again, saying it is nothing. Pain is growth. I don't know if any of you guys watch Naruto, Shippuden specifically, but my favorite arc in that entire anime is the arc of pain. And I mean, I'm not getting into the show or anything, but there's a character, an antagonist to the main character, Naruto, and his name is Pain. And the entire arc of that, of that season is about Naruto addressing his pain And that, what the antagonist is talking about is just what pain is. And all of those things are so much personal development in that specific season of that show. But the thing is that, again, it teaches you that pain is, again, why people go to the gym. It's not because of the pain. It's because of the pain of not going to the gym. Just like everything SJ was saying, it's so easy to chill and do nothing. It truly is. It feels easy. It feels better to drink whatever you want, to get drunk, to be high, to do anything, whereas doing what we know we need to do. And that's why, honestly, I hate the motivation, self-help, community, because in my opinion, it's all full of shit. Not a single person doesn't know what no one is lost on what they need to do at all. Everyone knows what they need to do to change their lives. And if anybody says, no, I don't, you haven't thought about it clear enough yet. Because again, we are the highest forms of creation and create whatever is happening in our reality. You are not a creature of circumstances. You are the creator of your circumstances. You are not a victim to anything at all. We have been convinced we are. And that's the problem, of course. This is not our fault we are raised this way. It is our challenge. This world can't, it can. The way our society currently operates, guys, the way we were all raised, the way our parents and grandparents and great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were raised around the ideas of what we all currently believe and, what we have always been taught to believe, and what we are all doing here to break those ideas. That's what all of us are doing here. These are quite literally generational curses that have been passed down. You could go as far as that this is even in DNA. It's encoded into DNA. Water has memory. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but memory is carried through water. That's a whole other conversation I'm not going to get into, but the point is that no one of you guys need to, be told what to do. It is about, again, for I don't mean to speak this way, but our job, mine and SJ's job, is to force anybody. I mean, let me just speak for me, and it applies to every single person here. This is not just a role for me, but again, speaking for me personally, what my job is to generate a different point of view, not to correct you guys or say how slacky, how everybody, not to attack anybody personally, because that's, of course, never going to solve anything. Whereas instead of looking at things from subtraction and addition, start looking at things from multiplication and division. It's the same thing, just looking at it from a different perspective. And by, again, challenging what people believe is where, again, real change can occur. Because I or SJ cannot change a single person. I can't change SJ. SJ can't change. No one can change anybody in here. We can only change ourselves. So again, just like what SJ said, the price for everything you want is everything you have. And that shit sucks. No cap. It is off. It is the hardest thing. What we are all doing here, guys, is the hardest thing to do. That's what you're asking the universe for. How easy it is to say, well, no, this is, this is the problem, that, lack of this, lack of that, whatever. And then off you go to falling back into what has been happening for the last, 5 years, 10 years, your entire life, maybe. How easy it is, again, to just fall back into it. What this platform and what we, again, talk about here are the people that don't need to be motivated. And that, again, don't feel like a single person on this needs to be motivated, because you're here. If you weren't motivated, you would be bitching about the job and falling asleep and going to it the next day and doing nothing about it. That's the people that are unmotivated. The difference here is that all of us want this. But what it really will come down to, the test, is, are you ready to genuinely pay for the price of not being complacent. And that's the word, complacency. It is so easy to choose that life. How many people, how many countless billions of people have walked the same path and that have lived and died? How many people in your family right now are walking the same path their parents did? And they are walking the path, the same path their parents did, and their parents, and their parents. You understand how much of a climb this is, truly? And it isn't meant to, again, in fact, it's not meant to motivate you. In fact, it's the opposite, to scare the shit out of you, because it should. What you're asking for here is not what, of course, if I even have to say this, it's not, can you do it? It's not, is it possible? It's, are you going to do it? Period. Am I going to stop you? Is your car going to stop you? Is the broker going to stop you? Is this platform? Is this mentor? Is your parents? Is your significant other? Is your electricity getting turned off going to stop you? If any of those things, if you answer yes to any of those things, then you're right. How can anybody do anything about it if you have allowed yourself to become a victim to your circumstances? You know what the biggest problem with being a victim is, guys? Can anybody go into the chat and answer that? What is the biggest problem about allowing you to say, I am not XYZ because of XYZ? What is it? And Oscar, you're right on it. Yes. And Mikey, you're right on it. You don't have control. You surrender control over your life and over everything that you can or can't do, because now this thing is in the way and I have no control over it because it is XYZ, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And therefore, you lose. Period. Do you guys really understand what I'm saying? There is no alternative. If you say, I am not where I want to be in life because of my significant other, then what do you expect to happen if, again, you do nothing about it? If you say that I am not successful because of all of the mandates and all the shit that's going on in the world right now, then again, what can change if you have allowed something else to, again, dictate yours? Just like what you guys said, the surrendering of responsibility over the good and the bad in your life is the lack of control. And imagine how many people in their lives don't have control, because again, I am, oppressed because of my skin color. I am oppressed because of my gender. I'm oppressed because of my beliefs. Okay, then you're right. You're right. No one can change anything about that, because no matter what I say, nothing will change if that is what you have concluded. Period. Period. There is no further conversation. It is, if you choose XYZ, that is what's going to happen. You could also just as much not choose any of that and choose a different path. But that's what this entire conversation is about. If you allow things to stand in your way, they are standing in your way, period. Or you consider them an obstacle, because that's the other important part of success, guys. You are not going to get to wherever it is that you want to be in life without you paying the price, without you going through pain, without you going through anxiety or depression or this or that, or all of these quote unquote negative emotions. You don't learn shit by being in pleasure. You don't learn anything by feeling good, being on a beach, by being in a full amount of happiness. Now, of course, that's the goal. But how do you get to it? Through pain. It's the only way. Because if it wasn't, then why don't you already have it? And so again, you have to learn to embrace the negative. You have to learn to embrace all of the shit that you don't want to embrace. This is why I love yin and yang. My favorite universal law is duality. No one understands duality because how many times do you guys hear, guys, I'm always thankful. Guys, I'm always blessed. I'm always in this happiest mood. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. It is not possible. It is a joke to think that you were constantly in a state of abundance. That is inhuman and completely preposterous. And to anybody who will stand on a stage and say that to people who are in the crowd, sitting in chairs, trying to change their life, it makes them feel, well, then why the hell can't I always be in a state of abundance? And then it creates this imbalance that will never be filled because that person standing on the stage is lying. They are lying if they say that they are just constantly happy and constantly this. That's bullshit. And that's why I have a problem with it. Sorry, go ahead, SJ.
That's why we actually have these conversations, because it's not all about fucking sunshine and rainbows and unicorns and shit. You know, it's like how I built my business was from sharing my struggles. Guys, I built this business from going and sharing about the really shitty, tough situations I was in that I could have gone, you know, full victim mode and, you know, all those reasons is why I don't have anything now. Or that was my fucking fuel to my fire. You know, every single person, this is why we have these conversations like this, is so it's relatable. We can show you that we're all the fucking same. And these are the tools that we use to overcome the same thing that you're having troubles. I swear to God, Tuesday, 9 p.m. words just escape my mouth. Struggles with. There was a question in the chat. How did you get clear on what you wanted? I decided, okay, I found this in a box recently, and I wrote this shit in 2014, okay? And I'm not going to go into this now, but how you find clarity around what it is that you want is, I started with the question was, how did I want to feel every single day? And I built my life around that. You know, I worked out what my highest values were, and I built my life around that. And then consequently, I found trading. Okay, 2015, 2016, found IM. Okay, so I built it around that. But just on, you know, on the back end of, you know, what Mike was saying about, you know, whether you think you can, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right every single time. Guys, I want you to write down your biggest dreams and your biggest goals. Like, you don't have to do it right now, but just write it down so you know what to do. I know you've probably written it down already, but I want you to ask yourself, how delusional are you regarding that goal? Okay. In other words, if you keep doing what you've always done, how likely are you to achieve that goal? Okay. Do you believe at a core level that you can achieve these goals? Right? Because belief is your responsibility, guys. It is your responsibility to believe in yourself. Let that sink in. Okay. Realize that you can and you will cultivate rock solid belief over time. Okay. And I always say to my guys, right, I never used to believe in myself. Okay. But my mentality when I started trading was, if he can do it, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. So if I can do it, you can do it. Okay. And I always say to my guys, I will believe in you so much until you believe in yourself. But none of that matters if you don't cultivate a rock solid belief system in yourself. Okay. So knowing that belief is your responsibility, I want you guys to write down one thing that you will do to regain control over your power of belief. Okay. For instance, that's getting on these calls. That's getting in, you know, your inner circle. That's getting around like-minded people. That's distancing yourself from, you know, toxic family members, toxic friends. Okay. You know, a topic came up in our community in Discord last week about a really unsupportive family member. And we're on a call and I said to her, I'm like, go write in Discord, go write your struggle. And I bet you everyone will have something similar to say. Okay. And you got to remember, you know, Andy Frisella did a podcast on it. I think Jason actually posted it recently, that when you go out, we all know this, guys, when you go out of your way to do anything outside the norm, you're going to be faced with negativity. You're going to have people misunderstand you, right? Whether they agree with you or whether they don't is completely fucking irrelevant. That does not matter. Okay. What do people do when they don't understand something? They throw some shade. right? They attack it. They sprinkle a bit of fucking negativity dust all over it, right? They project their own insecurities, their own reservations, their own doubts, their own limiting beliefs onto you. This is why you need to build that rock solid belief system. Okay, because if you dramatically increase your level of self-belief, who around you is going to be positively influenced, right? Who around you would be inspired? You know, how does hitting your goals, right? Chairman, P5, P2, FTMO, growing your 6-figure trading account, paying off debt, dropping that second job, having more money to invest, having more time to do the things that you want to do. How does all of that serve you, right? How does achieving all of that serve others? Okay, because what you need to know that, because the mind is such a powerful tool, right? It can deliver you literally anything you want. You can have anything you want, right? But first you have to believe that what you want is even possible for you. And secondly, you have to believe that you're fucking worthy. Okay, you're worthy of that. And it's an understanding that belief is a choice. So can you explain to me why one person is able to believe in his or her goals and make them a reality, while others are crippled by doubt, right? They're consumed with limiting beliefs. Everything is always happening to them, okay? Something is always hindering their progress. How is it that we all have the exact same access to the same educators, to the same tools to learn this skill set, yet some people come out successful and some don't, guys? It's not the education, right? It's not the tools you have. It's the tool in here, right? It's the belief. Isn't that interesting? Okay, belief is not something, like it's interesting that belief, it's not something tangible, right? It's not something that's tangible. So why are so many people are either able to believe in themselves and others can't? Think about it, belief as a thing, right? It's got no smell, it's got no form, it's got no shape, it's got no touch, right? It's not a tangible thing, yet it's the most powerful fucking force on this planet, right? It is the force that literally influences people to do things or not do things. It's a freaking mind fuck, right? Belief is the intangible thing that makes tangible things possible, right? It is the source of human creation. Every human-made item, right, is the result of a thought in someone's mind, okay? A thought that was then energized enough to be acted upon and then created in the real world. So belief is the ability to put enough focus and enough energy into an idea that it then influences your behavior consciously and unconsciously, right? So there's this huge, huge difference between, thinking. We think all fucking day. Wow, I'm a trooper on the swear words tonight. There's a huge difference between thinking and believing, right? Thinking is it's an activity that you engage in all day long, right? But thinking doesn't always lead to action, right? Or change in behavior. Okay, considering you've got thoughts all day. Like me saying I want to move to Bali or Italy or somewhere beautiful doesn't mean I'm going to act on that thought instantly, right? If I think, I wouldn't mind eating a donut, that crosses my mind all the time. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out and buy a donut. Or if you're like me, you probably drop everything and go buy a fucking donut. Okay, but when it comes to your beliefs, they're so much more powerful than thought. So understand that thinking and beliefs are so different. Beliefs, they're the things that's deeply rooted in your mind. They dictate how you perceive yourself and the world around you. And that is then what directly impacts your decisions. Okay, we say it all the time. We've said it a couple of times on tonight's call already. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. But also, guys, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. So if you believe you aren't smart enough, you will probably not pursue the things that you want to pursue because you don't think or believe that you can achieve it. If you believe you're shy, that you can't prospect, whatever, you're not going to put yourself out there. You're not going to like getting on calls. You're not going to like presenting. You're not going to like giving speeches. You're not going to go ask that girl or guy out, right? If you believe that money is evil and all the rich people in the world are corrupt and, fuck capitalism, right? Then you're probably not going to make much money, right? Or you'll find yourself not being able, once you make money, you'll find yourself not being able to keep it because your belief systems around money is like, money is evil, get it the fuck out of my hands, right? So to change these, everyone give me $1 every time I say, all right, right. So to change these beliefs, you have to replace them with new ones. And that is what the last couple of calls have been about, creating new neurological pathways. So when it comes to your goals, guys, this is for trading and business. When you get off this call tonight, don't leave it till tomorrow. I want you to write out what your goals are. Get really fucking clear. What are your desires? I want you to write out all of the reasons that you tell yourself that you can't have that, right? There we go. All the excuses, just all the shit that comes up for you. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough time. My job gets in the way. Money's evil. I don't know how to build overseas. That's been mine all week, right? I've shifted that, right? Whatever the reasons are, acknowledge them. And then ask yourself, are these reasons, are these excuses, are these limiting beliefs actually true? Or am I telling myself these because deep down, I don't believe I can achieve it and I'm not worthy of my dreams and my desires? Are they true or are they not? And then rewrite new positive stories that you can start telling yourself to believe, because you got to understand, even though your thoughts and your and beliefs are different, they're still connected, because thoughts crystallize into beliefs when they are given enough attention over time. Okay, beliefs generate thoughts, which further strengthen those beliefs. So if you keep thinking a specific thought, you'll begin to form a corresponding belief. So if you keep telling yourself, I'm committed, I'm resilient, I'm consistent, over and over and over again, you'll find yourself figuring this shit out. You'll find yourself continuing on. Okay, you'll find yourself achieving the desired result. But if you tell yourself, I'm not smart enough, this is really hard, over and over and over again, what do you think is going to happen for you? You'll quit the moment something comes up. So either way, your thoughts will crystallize into beliefs, and a belief is the thing that will directly influence your behavior. Mike.
I do want to, talk about a little bit of what you guys were just saying in the chat of like talking with other people. Because it is something that's important, especially with obviously the other side of this platform. And if that is something that you guys are struggling with, maybe this might help. Guys, family, friends, people you know, neighbors, whoever, they aren't having these conversations. Potentially ever. Never. So as much as bad as this might sound, we are dealing with a world of ignorance that does not know. So I definitely just want to say you cannot take that personally. It's like arguing with an ant and then being mad at the ant for not understanding, the perspective of, a human being. And that sucks, but that's our job, guys. That is what being a light is. And that's something that I've had to learn for a long time. And, here, you guys want me to go for the throat for that? Okay, then does anybody, and by the way, I'm not obviously directly speaking to anybody here, but what do you guys think mandates the majority of the people of this planet's thoughts and the beliefs? Keeping on track to that word. I'll answer it. Religion. And the problem with it is actually, here, just for the sake of context, guys, I was raised extremely sacrilegious. Now, I know that maybe out in Australia, like, again, I'm not, the point is that I was raised in fear. And I was raised in very, very constricted beliefs about everything. Because inherently, that's what the business of religion is for. You cannot be an entrepreneur, millionaire, free thinker, and still be confided to the rules of a dogma. That's the problem with religion, not talking about spirituality. I'm talking about the business of religion. More people have died in the name of that than anything else. And that's what so many people cling on to everywhere. It doesn't matter which one we are talking about. If we are talking about the three major religions of this world, they are all the Abrahamic religions: Catholicism, Judaism, and Christianity. Those religions have been designed to control people. It's not even, I mean, obviously, that is just, it's conjecture right now at this moment. But if I were to sit down with you, I would show you everything. If you know a Catholic, go up to that Catholic. And even if you are Catholic on this call right now, do you know what's under the Vatican? It's the easiest question in the world. It's not a debate. It's not anything. And if you don't know what's below do y'all know what everybody here knows what the Vatican is, right? SJ, give me the ability to screen share for a second.
Bossy.
Oh yeah. But I'll show you guys what's below the quote unquote holiest city on this planet. And you know how many Catholics don't know this? Every single one I've ever talked to. Here, this is what's below the Vatican. The Vatican is a city. The Vatican is in a city. It's its own country. They make their own rules. They have their own laws. And it's because, again, they decimated and genocided millions of people. No, the catacombs in Paris, or not Paris, but where the Vatican is, in Italy, I'm sorry. This is what's under the holiest, quote unquote, holiest city in the world, is a mass grave, but not just a mass grave. It is literally like they have designed it. It is designed. This is not just, they just killed a bunch of people and all their bones are there. No, they have strategically put these things here. My point is, of even showing you guys that, is, can you imagine how, if you know any Catholics, just ask them, do you even know what the catacombs are? If you, again, abide by Catholicism and, drink the blood of Christ and eat the crackers and do your, all the sacraments and go, all of the things that Catholics need to do. What about that? Shouldn't that, again, present a massive problem in your logic? How can you have the quote unquote holiest city in the world built on a mass grave of 13 million bodies? How does that even begin to make sense? My point of everything I just said was to, again, demonstrate that, again, victim mentality comes from the beliefs that we are taught, and religion is used for that specifically. So when you're speaking to people, maybe you're speaking to a Catholic, and guys, when just as an, or okay, let me get off of religion. Maybe you're speaking to somebody who's just, living life and just working and just, working at a job, going to school, doing everything that they have been taught to do. It's not their fault that they will call you a scammer. It's not their fault that they don't know. Do you guys recall a time in your life when you didn't know? How many breakthroughs have you had being here in this experience? Can't you recall a year ago, 2 years ago, however many years ago, when you knew none of this? And then when your mind was blown, or a breakthrough in your, through this entire process, you can also remember not knowing this. That's what the entire idea of a perspective change is. Your perspective was changed based off of new information. Period. That's what these people that we talk to are. So don't ever take it personally when somebody attacks you or calls you a scammer or this or that. They're just not ready to be unplugged for the matrix yet. It's just it's guys, I have had to learn this from my parents, just like what Jenna said a little bit ago. No one in my family knows what I do. They just know I trade. That's it. They have no idea what the hell that even means. As much as I have explained it more than 50 times, it doesn't matter. They're not listening. They don't listen. They just are waiting for you to finish talking so they can start talking. That's literally what goes on in the world that we all come from. So again, that's what our job is here, is to impose questions that get people to think. That's all we have to do. And not everybody's going to think for themselves, but that's how everything starts to change. Just like what I just did with the whole religion thing. Do you know why I did any of that? Delete everything I said at the first half of that. And most of the time when I talk to a Catholic, I don't say anything I just said. All I do is ask, do you know what the catacombs are? And 100% of the time, the answer is no. Not 99%, 100% of the time. And then I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And do exactly what I just did. Go to Google, type in the catacombs, and show them. And for the ones that immediately red alert, what the hell is that? How is the city made of gold where the 16th chapel with Michelangelo and the current Pope alive? How can that be the holiest city with that under it? That has to be a red flag. That does not and will never make sense. So for the ones that think, they will start to question. The ones that will hold on to the belief will just dismiss it and just move on, because it's called cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. They will create a wall of, oh, holy shit, and just bam, close down. But for the ones that do think, again, the entire point of this is what I call belief busting questions. You impose a question, and for the ones that listen, you create, again, a different perspective to potentially create an internalized problem in their logic, in their beliefs. And if they come to that conclusion, they then will search for the solution. They then will start to search for the truth. Not me trying to convince anybody. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. It is a waste of time. You also have to, be doing that as well. And if you don't have those types of questions to ask people, because I don't just do that with a religion. I can do this with the music industry. I can do it with education. I can do it with the energy industry. I can do it with point to anything, and I can do it because that's where I have spent so much of my personal development. But again, I must always remember other people haven't. And therefore, I have to speak to them in a way that they can understand. I cannot just bombard people with years of research and years of understanding of things, because they will just close down. It's what the mind will do. It's called cognitive dissonance. What that is that the brain will shut down to defend itself. So again, attacking people is never going to be the solution. And when they attack you, defense isn't the solution. It is just letting it go. It's okay. It is absolutely okay if people do not understand anything about you, because again, if they did, they would have your results. The very fact that people around you do not understand what you're doing, by definition, means that you're not going to have the same results they have. Do you guys really understand that? Did you really just hear what I just said? The fact that people do not understand what you were doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, who you're doing it with, is a confirmation that you're doing shit right. Because if they did understand, they would be doing it, and they would already have these types of results. But since it's the opposite in this case, it is a blessing that they do not understand. And that's why, again, I just smile, because again, it just confirms to me that I'm doing exactly what I need to do, because I don't want their results. I love them, but I do not want to live like them. So again, it's a confirmation that I'm walking a different path in life. So hopefully that makes sense.
Makes great sense. Some good chats in there. And just to clear up, cream does it. That's an old comment. Someone messaged me asking, what does cream mean? Yes, that's an old comment. He does not think Mike is a scam. Oh, classic. He would not be here if he did. So that question was sent in privately. Not really a question, but I have a fear of failing, but a guilt of succeeding. I love that. And I can relate to that a lot. I think it's common to feel like you don't deserve to have money, happiness, nice things. It's very common. Guilt is common when it comes to success. And I think it's common because becoming successful requires you to change. Okay. It means growth, and it means outgrowing everything: friends, relationships, environments. But just remember, guys, money is neither good or bad, right? It is a neutral resource. It is a tool that allows you to make a difference. So if you view success as a status, that's where ego kicks in, okay? But if you view it as a tool that allows you to do good, then that's how you need to view it, right? You've got to separate the concept of failing because you tried something new from failing from something that where you didn't do the work, right? Big difference. When you fail out of negligence, that's on you, right? But when you fail while you're attempting something new, you're actually just figuring out ways of how not to do something until you find a way that works. It's like that. Who's that fucking light bulb guy? I know he's the light bulb guy. What's his name? Edison. Thank you.
Edison.
The light bulb guy. How many times did he make a light bulb that didn't work? It was like 10,000 or something.
For the record, he's not the creator of the light bulb. They're scamming, but I'm sorry.
Everything's a fucking scam. Okay. But that's literally that. Okay. You're just figuring out the only way you can fail at this is if you quit, right? So as you start growing and changing and achieving your goals, you'll want to downplay your success like it's not a big deal, because you don't want to brag or you don't want to project an image about being better than others. Okay, guys, when I quit my job back in 2016, I had an interview with a magazine. Okay, and I had a friend, one of my best friends, screenshot this, whatever, send it to me by accident and saying, who the fuck does she think she is? And it was meant for my other friend, right? I could have gotten angry. I could have smacked the absolute living shit out of her. But instead, I wrote back and I said, thank you. Okay. Instead of shrugging off a compliment or comments, why don't you learn to say, thank you, I've been working really hard to make this happen and I'm really happy with my results, right? Why don't you learn to appreciate instead of reflecting others, compliments to you? You got to learn to, like, you all in here, you all appreciate other people's accomplishments so much. I see it all the time on social media. You're always blowing up people, celebrating others' success. Okay, but never be intimidated by your own power, right? Wanting what you want is not bad. Wanting a shit ton of money is not bad. Success is not bad, right? If we want to make changes in our lives, our habits will make it possible for us to achieve our goals, right? It'll do that because part of our psyche wants to evolve, but then the other part of our psyche is intimidated by the changes that you will make becoming successful, right? And this duality in thinking is what brings us to this crisis mode where you're, scared of failing and you're scared of success, but you want it, right? So then you start playing small. You don't achieve your goals. You small your goals, because if you were to tell, like, think about this, guys. If you were to tell the average person who has not been exposed to what we've been exposed to that you've got a goal of making 100 grand a month, what do you think they're going to do? Probably laugh at you and say that's not possible. Yeah, it's not possible for them. Okay. I strongly think that people say no to this, or they cheat themselves out of wanting what they want because they've never been given a vehicle that could give them exactly what it is that they want. And that is what we have right here. Okay. Your brain is literally designed to resist what you really want. Neurologically, when you get what you want, right, the chemicals in your brain stimulate that you want more. That's dopamine, right? It's a hormone that gives us the pleasure of more. That's why when you then achieve your big goal, you will soon find another fucking mountain to climb, because we instinctively know that getting what we want is going to bring up more challenges. Okay. We then become afraid because if we get it, we're going to want more. Greed kicks in. And then when we fear we may lose what we've worked hard for and what we've struggled for. Well, you'll all go through this. Okay. But when we go out, you know, when we go a long time without getting what we want, our brain still forms neurological biases, right? And that's where we begin to resent, and that's where we begin to judge, or we justify our excuses for not achieving our goals. You know, responsibility goes out the window, accountability goes out the window. So when we start resisting doing the work to actually get what we want, we're doing that because we fear the failure. We fear of losing the things that we've gained. So out of self-protection, we then start judging others for being successful, for being wealthy, right? And we build these negative associations around actually having what it is that we desire. So we talk ourselves out of it. We cheat ourselves out of it. We become jealous of those who have what we want. But fun fact, guys, don't be jealous of anyone who has what you want if you aren't willing to do the inner work and the outer work to get it. Like, period. Okay. Anything new that you're doing is going to feel uncomfortable until it's familiar, right? Trading isn't hard. It's just new. Okay. Building a business isn't hard. It's just new. That's what you got to get your head around. This chat's going a bit wild. Mike, do you have anything to say on that? Someone laughed at me when I said I wanted to be a millionaire.
It's just a continued conversation of the social conditioning. It comes from all aspects, guys. And again, why? Capitalism cannot operate with a world of millionaires. It can't. It literally cannot operate that way. So of course, the system must teach hate and resentment and comparison and all of those other things that we see, all of the extraordinary on screens and everything and all of the ordinary in real life, because it's always designed to be a dream. By definition, I mean, it's not like, they just screwed up and everybody's just screwed up. No, this is intentional because it has to be in order for the world that we all currently live in to operate. Guys, if you eliminate the necessity of money, who the hell's going to work at Amazon? Who the hell's going to build your house? Who's going to fix your plumbing? Who's going to build cars? Who's going to work at your gas station? Who's going to work at your grocery store? Why would anybody be doing any of that? So the guilt that is associated with this, or, the fear of failure, or the guilt of succeeding is just, again, more of the social conditioning that you're trying to break. And there's nothing that, again, in my opinion, that anybody can say to, break that ideology out of you. Everybody here has to understand that if you are the highest creation in the world and you create everything around you, then you are also creating that guilt. And it is absolutely something that you can let go of. And the easiest way to do that is to understand why you feel guilty about succeeding. And it's because you could feel like you're leaving people behind, or, there's so many other people that could use this money. I mean, I could sit here and think of 100 different things as to why, again, shame is associated with it. And it's because it's the same with me, guys. It's not that I was raised to hate rich people. I was raised to resent them because they could never understand me. They have no idea what it's like to not have money. You know how ridiculous that sounds when I have no idea what the hell that person has been through in order to even achieve anything like that? My lack of understanding, my lack of empathy. It's not about how much money a person has. It's about what you do with it, right? Money is not the root of all evil. Evil is the root of all evil. And it just gets associated to the idea of money. And I had to learn this the hard way, guys. I resent the idea of money. And that's not a secret. Money is the cancer of this world, but it's not the physical pieces of paper. It's the ideology that surrounds money. Our beliefs in money. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, well, this is how I always address this specific thing. If I gave you $1, one single unit of currency, and I mailed it to you and you got it, and you're holding it in your hand, is this going to change your life in any way, shape, or form? No. All funny answers aside, no, of course it's not. Well, why? Well, not because it's just $1. It's because you already have $1. You have $1 in your dirty laundry. You have $1 in between your couch cushions. You have $1 in your car. You have $1 everywhere, right? It's because $1 is abundant. Everybody has $1, right? The same exact logic could apply to $1 million. If I mailed you $1 million and you got it and you're holding it in your hand, but again, you have $1 million in your wallet. You have $1 million sitting in your dirty laundry. You have $1 million sitting in your car. You have $1 million sitting in the couch cushions. Has anything changed? No. It's the perception around it. It's the same thing when it comes to, again, the fear of failing or the guilt of success. It's because these have to be conditioned into the workforce. This has to be conditioned to the masses. Because if not, money fails as a concept. Money is the antithesis of imbalance. You cannot have rich without poor. And that's what money is. If everybody has money, guys, it completely just, the entire idea around it just falls apart. No one would give a shit. If everybody was a millionaire, who the hell would care if you're a millionaire? You see what I'm saying? It's absolutely, 100%, coming from a different perspective. And the guilt that is, again, comes along with it is from all different types of social conditioning. Religion is one. School is another. Parents could be one. The lack of resources that you've had growing up. Everything can formulate this problem. But again, I'm telling you, it's not that. It's really, again, the beliefs that you have associated around the guilt. About not succeeding, it's guilt, period. Not about guilt of XYZ. Screw the guilt of succeeding, the guilt of this, the guilt of that. You have to learn to allow it to happen and let it go. That's how you get break free of it. And how do you do that? I wish I could answer that for every single human being on this call right now, but I can't. No one can. You have to figure out a way how to understand that these lessons are lessons. Nothing is happening to you. It's happening for you. And by the way, you're asking for all of it. And so do you think that you would have ever come to the, to this point of, I feel guilty of succeeding had you not been here? Had everything, had everything continued to stay the same, from the last 5 years up until this very moment, do you think that thought would be crossing your mind right now? Probably not. This is a part of that. And it absolutely comes along with, again, breaking these belief systems that are broken, because they are broken. Do you guys know that there's a 9-year-old on YouTube that literally just grades toys? A 9-year-old has a net worth of $100 million right now. When I was 9 years old, that wasn't possible. It didn't happen unless a kid, potentially got inheritance money. But that's not inheritance money. He grades toys on YouTube and has millions and millions and millions of followers, and he made $26 million last year on YouTube. So really, again, stop and think about what the hell's going on, because we do not live in that age anymore. When I was in high school, not even just FaceTime, social media scrolling didn't exist. I don't know if any of you guys remember. When I was in high school, you had to log into the shitty ass mobile internet to get onto Facebook. Then, be on this trash version of a mobile website on a tiny little phone, not an app. Those didn't exist yet. That's how long ago this wasn't. I'm talking less than 15 years ago. That's how much everything has changed. In the last 20 years, everything has changed, guys. And you have to come to terms with it. You have to understand that we do not live in the world we were all raised in. Not anymore. It's not going to change. It already has. And you have to, again, you're all going through the growth and the pain right now, or else you wouldn't be asking these questions, or else you wouldn't be here. So just remember, guys, that, you know, this is absolutely a part of it. And SJ is laughing her ass off.
Reading the chat, I was like, this is fucking cool. So true. Oh, fuck me. Yes. Oh, what a funny call tonight, guys. You guys are good. Okay. I've got Mike, keep talking. I'm absolutely not.
I mean, yeah, LimeWire. You guys remember LimeWire? Like, you guys, shit is different. It's different. And it's not going back. Horace Mann is the guy. Write that name down. If you don't know who Horace Mann is, write his name down. HORACEMANN. Who that man is the guy that changed your life. Or no, not changed it, set up your life. And you have no idea who he is. He instituted mandatory public education in the United States that then ultimately even made its way to Australia. Mandatory public education, by definition, was designed to create the workforce. Is there anybody here that didn't go to public education? Or are you just like me? First grade, second grade, third grade, all the way up to, 12th grade or whatever. And again, supposed to go to college and then of course graduate there, then get a career and work for 40 years and retire off of 40% of your income. Do you guys even realize right now, if you did exactly that, got a career, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, and you did work there for 40 years and retired with 40% of your income, do you guys truly understand 100% that even if I grant that every single bit of that happens, inflation alone will kill that 40%? The value of the dollar that you're making right now today will be less in 20 years. It will be even more less in 40 years. Inflation alone will defeat that, much less anything else. Nothing. I mean, again, that system is designed to not work. It can't. It just doesn't. You cannot say I'm going to work for 40 years and retire off of 40% of my income, whereas I can point to a 9-year-old, somebody I'm 3 times older, that has made 26. He's got a net worth of $100 million. Can you guys really start to see this massive imbalance? There is a massive problem going on. And it's crazy. Not that I'm saying that we are doing this right now, but we are having to convince ourselves that this is what we should be doing. Whereas I can, again, just point out, again, we're talking about either learning how to do this or what's the alternative. If this doesn't work for you, what's the alternative? Trading is 5 days or 7 days a week if you trade crypto at any time, 24 hours a day. If this can't work for you, what is the only other choice? Going back to complacency. Okay. That should scare the shit out of every single person here. I'm not saying that there isn't another alternative, like you could go to YouTube maybe, or maybe you could become an Instagram model, or other things like that, because those things are of course possible as well. But I kind of pulled that together with the entire idea of what we are doing here, which is entrepreneurism. And, just put simply, if this doesn't work, what's the only other choice? Falling back to everything we have ever been taught. And again, achieving the results that every person you have ever met has. That scares me. It terrifies me. It truly does. From the bottom of my heart, I couldn't imagine filling out an application for $20 an hour. The thought of doing that will almost make me just throw up, because I know what I know now. I can no longer claim ignorance as an excuse. Ignorance is not bliss. I know what I know. I've seen this. Huh?
Isn't it easier? Like
to claim ignorance?
Yeah.
Yeah. People say ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
Fuck that. No, it's not. No, it is not. I have never agreed with that my entire life. Ignorance is not bliss. I will not willingly choose to not know ever on anything. Ignorance is not bliss. And if anybody says that, they're ignorant and they're just sitting in that bliss, but it's not. So, again, if this isn't something that can work for you, because this is trading, this is truly 100% performance-based pay, potentially for the first time in your life ever, it is all on your shoulders to make this happen. Not that you don't have a community and a network of other people to help and rely on and things like that. But when it comes to brass tacks, you are responsible for whatever happens, good or bad. You have a community around you, of course. You're not alone, but you, solely you, are absolutely responsible for everything that happens. Whether you choose complacency and fall back into everything, or you become a multi-millionaire, the choice is yours. The choice is mine. The choice is SJ's. Some people won't be here. There will be new faces here. And even next week, it's just how it is. It's how it's always going to be, because people will then finally meet a wall that they think kills them. And it's like, I just can't get past it. Okay. Love you on the way in, love you on the way out. That's not going to stop anything here. We're going to keep going, one way or the other. We're going to figure shit out. Obstacles are inevitable. Pain is inevitable. You have to grow through them. Do you guys think that a caterpillar wants to sit in a cocoon for all that time? But when it does, it becomes a butterfly and it starts to fly. Well, here you are in that cocoon phase. You've been a caterpillar. We have been caterpillars our entire lives. Now you're in a phase of complete and utter massive change over everything you've ever believed potentially. And the challenge is to unlearn all that, to relearn new information. Don't underestimate how serious this conversation is. Because then potentially this might be the most, not just necessarily this particular conversation. I'm saying what you are doing here is arguably one of the most, if not again, the most important thing that you've ever done in your entire life. Because if not, you will fall back. It's because it's so easier and the brain will defend itself. The brain doesn't like change, guys. The brain wants to go back to what's comfortable. The brain wants to stay in the comfort zone. I know this, so I want to stay here. We are forcing ourselves to embrace change. Don't ever forget that. You have to understand that what you are going through right now is what you need to go through in order to get to the results that you want. Or you continue to do what you're doing and nothing will change, because we say it all the time. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Oh, by the way, last note, change the damn music you listen to and change your life, period.
Yeah, I mean, metal music, we're metalheads here, so that is the thing that fucking keeps me sane. I'll give you that. I think you guys are starting to understand the theme of this call, right? Everything in your life that you like or dislike that has come into your life is simply because you have a mental programming that supports that belief. Okay, and the conversation that you have with yourself is the one creating your reality. So whether it's the conversation that is consciously or unconsciously, and what I mean by that, by reality, is what you believe about yourself and the world around you. Okay, so I want you guys to finish this year fucking strong, right? There's 12 weeks left. Where you are right now, do you really want to go into next year the same? Like, who here is like set all these freaking resolutions and you haven't stuck with them? Okay, that's another conversation. But if you insist on giving yourself the excuses of, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I'm not smart enough, I can't focus, I can't this, I'm not that, then that is how you're going to perceive yourself. So self-talk is also affected by your environment, guys. Meaning if your parents, your partner, your siblings, your friends don't support you on this journey and they project their fears, their insecurities, their doubts onto you enough, you will become someone who's going to integrate their so-called truth, and you're going to begin believing what they believe, which is why you need to develop that rock solid belief about yourself so that you aren't influenced by others. Okay, that's how you do this. So to change your beliefs, you've got to change that self-talk. You must choose your environment more consciously. So like even like for my journey, right? I'm going to wrap this up. But when I first started my personal development journey, my trading journey, even my journey in network marketing, okay, I envisioned myself inspiring millions of people around the world. And as I kept going, I kept having ego deaths, right? Every time I learned something new, every time I grew out of one cocoon and maybe into another one because I wasn't quite ready yet, I kept having these ego deaths, and I couldn't help but wonder whether my vision was coming from my ego or whether it was from like my destiny or something like that. Okay. Perhaps I was nothing more than delusional, right? So I had to figure it all out. I had to trust my intuition. I currently ask for guidance. Then in this, like Mike and I have been running this course since 2017. Okay. We've been in this together for like 5.5 years. The first few years, there was setback after setback. Like how many teams have left Mike, right? How many people have come back?
Oh my God.
Like fucking hell. So many people, there's a whole other conversation. But I mean, there's setback after setback. Teams have left. We've had to rebuild so many times. Okay. My mom got really sick. I had to become a full-time carer. My relationship broke down. My upline quit. I had no support. I reached out to Mike and I'm like, fucking save me. But we kept believing, we kept applying, we kept showing up, right? I told myself, if I'm, all these people I'm watching who were honestly like more batshit crazy than what I was, if they could do it, I could do it. My whole thing has been built around, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's the thinking that you guys need to adopt. Okay. I told myself that all these individuals that had the results I wanted were no better than me, no smarter than me, no more motivated than me. I was the most motivated motherfucker out there. Okay. I trusted I was on the right path, that I found trading for a reason. I found Trade House for a reason. Okay. And I kept showing up. I reminded myself that I have years to develop this. This is not a get rich quick thing. This is not an overnight thing. I had to keep reminding myself of that. I had to keep focusing on the task at hand. So if you're going through bounce back, focus on the video that you're watching then and there. Go to the charts and apply it. Stop trying to piece all the pieces of the puzzle together in the video of market structure phase 1. Stop trying to do that. Trust the process that it'll all come together if you're doing the things that you need to do. Okay. You need to develop the identity of a person who doesn't fucking quit. Okay. You need to condition your mind daily with journaling, affirmations, if you will, visualizations, mirror work, the music you listen to. You got to think about all the reasons why your vision has to become a reality, right? That's what you have to do. You have to cultivate self-compassion. Every time you feel down or you're not progressing, take a step back and actually acknowledge how far you've come. Okay? Because by using the power of belief, you will be able to create some pretty fucking cool shit. 5 years ago, I had no money to my name, guys. In 5 years, I built a house. I've got investment properties, right? I paid off my credit cards. I have cash flowing assets. I don't have liabilities that I owe money on. I have time to do the things I want. I have money to invest. I can travel. Not at the moment, but I don't say any of that to impress you. We say these things to impress upon you. That's what this is about, that we all start somewhere. That everyone who has achieved anything that you look up to once didn't have it. They once didn't know what it is that we know. They just believed that they could have it, and that their success only happened because they believed and they took inspired action to achieve it. We didn't just daydream, read some fucking affirmations and think the universe is going to drop it in our lap. That's not how this works. I wish it did. but it doesn't. You know, I visualize my goals with a strong sense of commitment, a strong sense of determination to make this all a reality. Don't underestimate this, guys. Don't underestimate trading. Don't underestimate network marketing. All of this works. The question to you is, do you work? That's the question. Because how delusional are you regarding your goals? If you keep doing what you do on a day-to-day basis, how likely are you to achieve your goals? What do you need to do to ensure that you do reach your goal? Are these my goals, or are these the goals of others? Because sometimes we adopt other people's preferences for our own life, even if it's not what we want for ourselves. And because of this, the goals are not our genuine desire. So when you hit them, it's never enough. You feel this sense of emptiness. You feel a little bit lost. You feel like you're not on the right path. So ask yourself, what is it that I really want? And do I really want this? Apply that question to everything. Your jobs, relationships, your lifestyle. Why do you want the things that you want? What are you going to do to make sure that you fucking achieve it? Then go out there and do it. You've got 12 weeks left of this year. Think about how you want to finish this year. Mike, do you want to end the call for me and everyone?
Sure. I think you guys all know what the intention of this call was for. If you've been here paying attention, thank you guys so much for giving this time. You know, this isn't about just talking your guys' ear off and, trying to motivate you. It's, if anything, scare the shit out of you, the opposite of motivating you. And, hopefully, again, that something was genuinely taken away, even if it was just that one sentence. Then this hour and a half of time was worth it. And that, again, that's what this community is for. It's about being there for, again, all of this pain that all of us are enduring, because you're definitely damn sure not alone. 100%. All of us are continuing down this path. Don't ever feel like you're alone, because again, this is something that all of us are enduring and all of us are going through. So on that note, thank you. Thank you for you challenging and desiring more out of your life and not choosing complacency. Truly, that is no cap. I truly do appreciate the struggle that you guys are going through, the pain that you were enduring, the doubt, all of it, the anxiety, everything that you're going through that you're not saying right now. It is a part of this process. And I appreciate your tenacity to get through it, and that your desire to have change, because you could just as much not be here. So again, on that, thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of your time, for real.
I appreciate you guys for jumping on and staying the whole time. Mike, I appreciate you so much for getting up. As always, Siva, thank you for getting on as well. But guys, I appreciate you guys so much. This will be up on YouTube tomorrow. I'm actually converting these to a podcast soon as well. So that'll be cool. So it'll be easy for you guys to listen to when you can't make the calls. So guys, I appreciate you. Mike, so good to have you on this week. What a call. I'm definitely going to rewatch this one for sure. But guys, thank you so much. Have a good night. Mike, have a great day, and everyone have a good sleep. See you guys next week.